Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bakertron, and this is another game of Homeworld. Today we will have a 2v2, and I'm not quite sure what the map is. I suspect it may be Subjugate Your Friends or Radical Symmetry. It's definitely not Talos Crossroads, and for that I am very thankful for, because I think about my last 5 games have been on that map. So yes, unfortunately I can't tell you what map this is, but this should still be a fairly fun game. It is a 2v2 as you can see, and down here we have, I believe this is Katrina, that's what it looks like, of the clan CIG, but I'm going to say her for that since Katrina is a female name, so yep. And her ally will be Ultra from the clan SLS, who we've seen quite often, and he may own this map pack in fact. We're not entirely sure about that, but quite possibly he is the person who put this together. And their opponents today, as well, you've probably have already seen from down here, the sort of greyish tie-down, this is Jingalu or Jingalu. Jingalu I think works slightly better, so I'm going to just call him Jingalu. And his ally over here, the other tie-down, is Dark Viking, who has also appeared in a couple of these replays, but I don't think I've actually casted one of his games yet. So there we have it, a nice 2v2, something a bit different from the usual 1v1s on Talos Crossroads that we almost always have. So hopefully it'll be a fairly good game. And fortunately for us, the colours are fairly simple. If it's green versus, well, grey and dark green, so we won't have to rely on the strategic display. We can just look at the trails and hopefully figure out who's on whose side, because it can get a bit confusing when there's millions of strikecraft flying around and they're all the same colour and whatnot. So, as we can see, I hope this is Katrina, or I've gone with an extra research ship already. It's resource controller out, support figured out, fairly standard build, we're not seeing anything too special. Scouts and light corvettes all in a good position. This is, if I remember correctly, this is Dark Viking. It's also got a controller out and light corvettes and whatnot. Doesn't seem to have any support figures out yet. 2 research ships, so they're pretty much the same. And we're in fact seeing the exact same here. Light corvettes, scouts. Is there a... No, there is not a resource controller out for Ultra yet. But we should see one... Well, I expect to see one very soon. And over here we have, again, just for this is Jingalu. Lots of scouts. Oh, we see some interceptors as well, and it looks like it's actually all going to kick off. So Jingalu has a couple of interceptors, but not too many. And Jingalu doesn't have a resource controller. So at the moment it looks like Ultra has a significant amount of forces, or at least enough to hold off from Jingalu and Viking, who are sending most of their strikecraft into to fight him. This is going to be pretty good for... Oh no, this isn't Ultra, we think this is Katrina. So Katrina has enough forces to hold off the attacks from both players. There's this nice corvette wall here, it's all formed up with a support figure to keep it alive. The scouts have kind of whittled each other down. There's another corvette force here that doesn't have a support frigate though, and we can just see Ultra with a huge wall coming in from the back, and he's going to be able to start hitting this resourcing operation. So if this is Katrina, I mean, I don't know, these can sometimes be a bit weird, so this in fact could be Ultra, but whoever this player is has done quite well holding off the attacks from both of their opponents at once. But they're not out the woods yet, so still hasn't got any sort of additional... Oh yes, yes they do. There are some interceptors out, but they're not doing anything, except this one's dying very slowly. But they should be able to get into the fight fairly quickly. And we can see that some of these fighters have been pulled back to go after these ships that were going for the resourcing operation. These green ones here are Ultras, or whoever it is down here. And they're actually just dealing with these pursuing fighters pretty efficiently. Ultra, assuming it is down here, still going fairly standard, has the controller out, yes, but isn't doing anything with it. And there's this nice corvette wall that's just slowly being reinforced here. So we can see this fight has sort of slowed down now, but definitely gone in the way of the green teams, or in the green team's favour. And that's given them control of the centre resource patch. Right here we can see this is Dark Viking, has a fair few strike craft out still. And coming up behind the green team over there are these other strike craft, although they appear to be repositioning, maybe to try to intercept this corvette war. But these definitely have a chance to go and just take out. Although it doesn't look like they're going to need any help. Assault frigates out for Dark Viking as well. That's going to be pretty effective against these light corvettes, but they have to be careful that the light corvettes don't overwhelm them. And I think this is Ultra. He's now gone up to interceptors, which seems so. Ultra, Katrina, and Jingalu went interceptors, whilst Dark Viking went for the assault frigates. Who does that give the advantage to? It's going to be hard to tell. Although, if Ultra doesn't get these moving quickly, then he's going to take significant casualties. Which is definitely something you need to watch out for. Is make sure your ships get into start fighting and start moving as soon as possible. Now they are. They're killing a lot of the opponents. They once the corvettes started moving, they just cleared everything up really quickly. But now we've got this corvette war from, I think it's Katrina, and this these scouts from Ultra are going to try to hold the centre. There's a nice corvette wall here and a nice force of scouts here, and these assault frigates. But two support frigates keeping these corvettes alive, I don't think the assault frigates can do a lot, so it would probably be best if maybe they retargeted the support frigates here. And actually it looks like this is what this assault frigate here is attempting to do. Meanwhile I've got this sort of fight kicking off over here. That's a bit easier to see. I think there might be some heavy corvettes mixed in. Yeah, let's see if we can get a bit closer. Actually no, I tell a lie, those are all light corvettes. And they outnumber their enemy significantly, but their enemy has this assault frigate out now, and it's got lots of healing power. So I suspect that these may not win the fight, although there's more reinforcements back here. Resourcing operations still occurring in the middle of the map. And now this is actually, I think, too close to call at the moment. We've essentially got two fights, one here and one here. But the presence of these assault frigates means that this fight isn't going in either direction. I'm pretty much the same that's happening over here, just with the support frigates healing, well, with the support frigates and repair corvettes keeping these corvettes in the fight. So it's kind of even, I would suggest. Nobody's really going after the resourcing operations of their opponents. If this is Ultra, it could be Katrina, but there's still this resource collector that isn't doing anything. It seems to be a bit forgotten. And now, again, it's kind of, we've just got to sit back and wait. Eventually someone's going to get beaten down, eventually someone's going to make a mistake, such as not having these interceptors moving around, or not killing off these assault frigates, because this assault frigate force is building up to be quite scary now. I mean, if we remember, these light corvette force was about twice the size a few minutes ago, and they're still kind of being kept alive. But these support frigates are under significant fire. and once they're gone, this frigate force, this light corvette force is going to collapse pretty quickly. And judging from the strategic display, I think it's starting to swing in favour of, I'll call them the red team. So that's these two tie-down players. There's still a significant amount of strike craft over here, but there's just so many support frigates, I don't think they can really get the kills in. Assault frigate now out for the person who I've called in Katrina, but it's on its own, doesn't have any support frigates with it, and it's already starting to take damage. Oh, a second one out as well. And so now everybody's moved up to assault frigates. The question is, does anyone go straight up for iron cannons, or maybe start getting out to different corvettes? Heavy corvettes could be pretty useful. But honestly, I think both sides, they have the tools they need to finish the job. It's just going to be who can control them the best. This is always painful to see. There's like 15 scouts and there, and yes, scouts aren't the most effective, but they can do kamikaze attacks, and they can be quite devastating. So we can see here, this is the person I'm calling Ultra. He's pretty much been cleaned up over here now. He's just got a handful of corvettes, well, a handful of strike craft left, and they're almost all gone. So this force here, I think, thanks to the support frigates and the repair corvettes, they were able to stay alive despite being very outnumbered, and that's kind of won the fight there. And there are plenty of assault frigates out as well. And we have here a defence field frigate. That's going to be pretty useful if you can find something to protect. It might not be able to though. That's going to be the problem. I mean, it's only guarding a single support frigate at the moment. These other ships have to get into the sphere as soon as possible, and once they do, this will be a sort of safe area where he can start winning again, and then that area can swing around. But I don't think Ultra here is going to survive long enough. I mean, this is going to keep him in the fight a little bit, but it does mean that he's not really doing any damage. I suppose it would be nice if he retired the controller, maybe even retired the researching ships. And we can just see, I think you can see it anyway, these sort of orange circles as the defence field frigate blocks about 99% of the incoming fire, which is going to be pretty useful. Although, is it going to be enough? You can see over here the resourcing operation under attack, but I don't think there's enough firepower to kill them off that quickly. Attack bombers out now, which is always good to see. They're starting to get into the sort of more advanced craft, so you don't really see them that often. So it wouldn't surprise me now if some iron cannon frigates start popping out for the red team, especially since we've seen the defence field frigate over here. I mean, now he's sort of pulled the frigates together, he's going to be doing quite well, although he needs to keep an eye, or Katrina, if it is a she, whoever it is, he needs to keep an eye on their frigates, keep them in the sphere. But otherwise they've got a good chance of sort of very slowly winning this fight here. There's the controller gone, so no chance of retiring that for some cash. Honestly, at this point, it's not looking good for Ultra. So, maybe time to kamikaze his mothership into the enemy's mothership and hope for the best. Although it looks like now it's really difficult to tell who these assault frigates belong to. I think they're they're yellow, so that means they're Dark Viking. Yes, it is Dark Viking. and they're actually all fairly damaged. We can see that one's damaged. Yeah, they're all actually quite close to death, so if these frigates can sort of swing around and start hitting them, and this one here, they might be able to clean up these 4 frigates and then sort of move on to this force here. Defence field frigate, of course, still being extremely useful, or will be extremely useful once it moves on over here. Very surprised we haven't seen iron cannon frigates or destroyers out yet. I was expecting them to come very soon. So yes, in terms of harvesting, almost everything's gone. There's still a few bits and pieces like here and whatnot. And whose are these? These are, I believe these are the yellows, so that means they're dark Vikings. They've just been hunting down harvesters, and that's going to pay off pretty soon, although there's still a lot of resources over here up for grabs to whoever moves in. Of course, these scouts should really hunt down this harvester here, but we can't really blame anyone for sort of losing their concentration. Now we can see Dark Viking has been building up a fairly large group of strikecraft, and now it looks like they're moving off probably over here. So all of a sudden the green team's chances of victory are rapidly slipping away. They have won the victory here. If we look, there were 4 very, very damaged assault frigates and 1 sort of slightly damaged one here, and they've now been cleaned up. So they've got that going for them, which is nice. And there is a gravwell generator. How useful that's going to be is going to be difficult to tell. This is Ultra's gravwell generator, and that would probably be why all these strikecraft sort of moved away. Unfortunately, once again they've sort of joined this group, and this is a perfect chance to shut down the last of the harvesting. But they've just it's quite frustrating to see that happening. Either way, can this group of assault frigates, there's 4 here, which these defence frigates, support frigates really need to get into position to keep these alive. If they did, they would actually have a chance against this frigate force here. There'd only be 1 iron cannon frigate, and that could be focused down quite quickly. Unfortunately, okay, now they've just finished off that. These support frigates and defence field frigate has to get into position to protect these. If they don't do it soon, it's just not going to end well for the green team. They have a chance, just about, but they've got to do something within the next few minutes. The defence field frigate has to move in, preferably even to guard. Get the defence field frigate to guard the mothership here, and put your assault frigate so close that it can do both, really. Otherwise, that's going to explode, and when Ultra's mothership explodes, it's going to do a lot of damage to everything nearby. I think that's what Ultra is aiming for. That's why he's moved his mothership back slightly to try to damage these frigates, and that's why we can see these strikecraft backing out of the area. They didn't quite manage it though. They still got destroyed. So really now it depends on who's got the most support frigates, who can heal up their force as quickly as possible. And honestly, I think now actually, oh, that is Ultra, but that said he was the ally, and the ally is yellow, except here. Oh, that's strategic. Okay, Gearbox, if you ever watch this, fix it in the new release. Okay, so the defence field frigate is doing its job now. This is Ultra, in fact. If I had the time, I would completely redo this video, but I really don't. So he's actually got a very strong force here. Now I believe ships do very slowly automatically repair themselves, and apart from, well, in fact I think Ultra might be able to pull this off. There's still a lot of strikecraft around here, but the problem is well, they can't do any damage as long as the defense field figure is alive. Now, he does have, well, Ultra's opponents, Jingalu and Dark Viking, do have a lot of these harvesters that they don't really need now, and they could ram the defense field figure. Oh, you're kidding me. Oh. Okay, looks like we'll never find out who wins. Although, to be honest, I think Ultra has the advantage, but... Well, I'd like to thank you all for watching, assuming I do in fact upload this. I hope you've enjoyed it despite the anticlimactic end. I do apologise for that. Yeah, I think I may upload this one just because I need to put one up soon, and I'll try to upload a better game tomorrow. So I hope you still enjoyed the battle. Honestly, I think this is in Ultra's favour. So there's not much else I can say or do. Sorry for that. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.